Houston billionaire and host of CNBC's Billion Dollar Buyer, Tilman Fertitta, went on CNBC, and he argued that Trump's conflicts of interests, they're kind of irrelevant. Check it out.
He's the president-elect, okay? He is going to have conflicts of interest, okay? He is no more putting it in a blind trust. That is the smartest thing anybody said, Megan, is what you just said, okay? That's why we elected him president. It's because he's a true chief executive officer, and he knows how to tell people what to do. He needs to put one of his kids in charge of the business who comes to no meetings at the White House ever, okay? But you are not going to stop him from talking to his one son that is running the business, okay? We're all smoking something. It's his business. It's a family business. A blind trust means you have a trustee that can just sell it. It's never happening. Get used to his little conflicts. He isn't going to do anything major.
We're going to say little conflicts when just this week we're saying, well, at his New Year's Eve party, he was praising his business partner from Dubai who was there. Throughout the campaign, he's got projects in Indonesia. That business partner, who, by the way, Carl Icahn, also involved in that project, his business partner in Indonesia, he might run for president. This is the world we're now living in, and you're saying you get what you get and you don't get upset?
I'm not saying you don't get upset, but the media is going to watch him, but he is going to have some conflicts. You can't help it, okay? That's why we elected him president, though, Stephanie.
What does that mean? He is going to have those conflicts. That's why we elected him president. No. He said earlier, too, he's a president-elect. He's going to have conflicts of interest. No. Why is that? He says it like it's a given. He's like, well, I mean, that's what happens is we elect him and he's got conflicts of interest, obviously. No, the whole point, we should have a president that doesn't have conflicts of interest. In fact, that's one of the key arguments Trump made against Hillary Clinton. You can't vote for her. She has conflicts of interest. And he was right about that. But then it applies to him too. What, he's suddenly above the fray? Everything Hillary Clinton was guilty of, he's guilty of it too, but hey, shut the fuck up, because when he does it, it's okay. What kind of stupid shit is that? Who the fuck believes that? And then at one point he said, get used to his little conflicts. Okay, no, this is really getting under my skin now, because you are seeing more and more as time goes by. He does have a lot of conflicts of interest. So for example, they were talking about Indonesia there. You also have, during the campaign season, he registered 7 new businesses in Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm supposed to think that Donald Trump is going to be objective and rational in his policy making towards Saudi Arabia after he just registered 7 new businesses there. No, he wants to maintain a good relationship with them so he can make fucking money. Same thing with Dubai. His golf course in Dubai. So again, I'm supposed to, if they do something really bad and really wrong, is President-elect Trump going to say, look, we got to address this? Saudi Arabia's already doing terrible shit. This is one of the reasons why we hated, Hillary Clinton. No, she took money from Saudi Arabia. She defends Saudi Arabia, does weapons deals with Saudi Arabia. She pretends like she cares about women's rights. Well, look at the women in Saudi. How they doing? You're giving Saudi, support and weapons and money, and they treat women like second-class citizens. Donald Trump's going to do the same shit. He acts like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a tough guy on this. Well, no, you're not. You just registered 7 new businesses there. And you don't have fucking shit to say about, for example, in Saudi Arabia, they say all atheists are terrorists. They behead people for sorcery and witchcraft and apostasy. So it's not just that either. There's a million examples of this. He was doing a business meeting with business partners from India when he had just won the election. You can't do that. Again, your personal financial interests can conflict with the official business of the government of the United States of America, with the direction we should take policy. But now you're biased as a result of your business partnerships. There was a report that, remember, he took the call from the leader of Taiwan, and China flipped out. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? Because China says, hey, we have a one China policy. They're part of China. Taiwan says, you say that. We say we're kind of independent, bitch. So since Nixon, the U.S. has said, look, we don't treat Taiwan as its own entity. Well, you had the phone call from the president of Taiwan. Donald Trump answered it. And that led to a big international incident. Come to find out, there are some reports that he had people from his business reach out to Taiwan weeks before that and say, hey, what if we open some Trump hotels in Taiwan? And then lo and behold, Trump gets the phone call congratulating him on his win. So business interests, do you see a pattern here? Business interests leading to international incidents. And most importantly, if you have a government that's so wrapped up in their own business and financial interests and care more about enriching themselves and their donors, what are they not doing? They're not looking after the people. They're not doing their fucking job, which is to represent the people of the United States of America. That was the fucking problem with Hillary Clinton. We go, look at the Clinton Foundation. Massive conflicts of interest. She ain't going to do shit for the people. She's going to do shit for her donors and her buddies. Donald Trump, same fucking thing. Massive conflicts of interest with donors. And he's also personally tied up in all these different countries with various business ventures. You can't have those business ventures. And then he says two things at the same time. It's okay, my kids are going to handle it in a blind trust, which makes no sense because that's not what a blind trust is. My kids are going to handle it. And then he goes on to say, oh yeah, and by the way, Ivanka's gonna be working closely in my administration and working with me in my administration, and she literally sits in on meetings with me, like when I was talking to the Japanese prime minister. Which is it, Don? Oh, they're totally separate, and I had nothing to do with my businesses. My kids are running it. Or, oh, my kids are still working with me closely, and I'm very involved in what we're doing, and they're very involved in what I'm doing, and I'm involved in what they're doing. Which is it? Which is it? Is it they're going to work with you and be in the room for the actions the president takes, or are they just separate and doing their own thing with the business and I want nothing to do with it? And by the way, even if they were separate and just handling the business, that's still not good enough. That's like if Hillary Clinton said, look, I'm done with the Clinton Foundation. Chelsea's going to run it. Everybody, what the fuck? No, you're the same family. There's going to still be conflicts of interest. Am I supposed to think you never talk to your daughter and you never work things out? It's the same fucking thing, which, oh, my kids are going to handle my business. This is corruption 101. This is not only oligarchy at this point, it's aristocracy. That's what we're looking at. So it's bad with Hillary, it's bad with Trump, and nobody should give it a pass, but Trump's billionaire friends are giving weak-ass arguments like, he's the president-elect, he's going to have conflicts of interest. How about no? How about any president we elect, by law, they cannot have these conflicts of interest? How about we actually have good campaign finance laws and we crack down on corruption? How about that crazy idea?